Hello, my name is Moshawa, and in this video I'll show you how to configure PC-lint Plus to support the SEGGER compiler. PC-lint Plus can be configured to support any C or C++ compiler. This is accomplished by creating a compiler configuration that informs PC-lint Plus of important characteristics, including where to find system headers, the size of fundamental types, and so on. Creating a compiler configuration is the first step in using PC-lint Plus. So let's get started. In order to follow along, you'll need to download PC-lint Plus 2.1 or later on your machine. Once you have it installed, we can locate the utility PCLP_config.py. This utility will allow us to create the compiler configuration. There are a few things that we need to do in order to run this utility successfully. The first is installing Python. There are plenty of tutorials that cover that topic, but we'll leave a link down in the description. Once you have Python installed, you can install the modules regex and pyaml. First, open up a shell window by clicking on the path and typing in cmd. Click return or enter. Once the shell window is open, you can type in the command pip install regex. Once the command is complete, we can follow along with pip install pyaml. Once the two modules are installed, the last thing we will need to do is to make sure that PCLP_config.py is within the same directory as compilers.yaml. Here's the structure of the command that we need in order to create the compiler configuration. It starts off with a --" compiler option. We can locate that information by first opening up the SEGGER IDE. And here I have an example that comes from the SEGGER IDE in order to demonstrate, but you can follow along with your project. From here, we can click on View, Project Explorer, right-click on your project, Export Build. From here, we want to look for the line where main.c is being compiled. We will do that by clicking Ctrl F, typing in main.c. This seems to be on the fourth line. On the fourth line, we will see that the compiler being used is SEGGER-cc. We will copy the entire compiler bin by clicking Ctrl C. Now we can go back to our command and fill in the compiler bin option to be the path that we just copied. And for the --" compiler option, that's going to be SEGGER-cc. This might be different for you. It might be cc1 or cc1 plus. This is dictated by the last line found in the path. If you do have SEGGER-cc to be your compiler, you will need to pass -cc1 to be your first option in the --" compiler options, and then passing in the -" option. So we can go back and locate what that value should be. We can go back to the SEGGER IDE and search the same text file that popped up from earlier by using Ctrl F. And here I can see the value that's chosen for it. We can click Ctrl C and go back to our command in order to add it, space, and then add it using Ctrl V. The --" output lnt file and --" output header file dictate the name of the files generated. The --" generate compiler config tells the utility to generate a compiler configuration. So from here, we want to make sure that the entire command is on one line. And each of the options should be separated by a space. And from here, we can copy the entire command and run it in the shell window. We'll open up another shell window in the same way as before, paste in the command. And it seems like that the utility is unable to determine the built-in include directories. We can locate the built-in include directories by going back to the SEGGER IDE and searching for -i options. And here I can see a -i system option with the path that I need for the include. We can copy the path that we need. And from here, we can either add it to the --" compiler -options as a -i option or -include path option, or we can add it manually to the .lnt file. I'll go ahead and add it manually to the .lnt file so you can see what that looks like right now. And where the -include options were supposed to be, we can go ahead and add a -i option with the path that we need. Note that this path includes library headers, so we can make that distinction by using the option +lib_dir followed by the same path. And now we can save this file. Let's make sure that the size options are also there. So we can scroll down and you can see here the size options are located right here. At this point, generating the compiler configuration is complete, and you can add any additional include directories that are not populated by the utility as they're needed by your project in the same way that we added the --i option before. But some of your headers might not be library headers, so you don't need the +libdir option for every single -i option that you have. And now all you have to do is make sure that you reference the compiler configuration before you're analyzing any modules. I hope you have found this video to be helpful. To go further, feel free to check out the video link down in the description where we go over integrating PC-lint Plus with the SEGGER IDE. If you run into any issues or if you have video topic suggestions, feel free to reach out to us on support@PCLintPlus.com. Have a good one.